Past Cure is a difficult game to define. One moment it's a generic third-person shooter, the next it wants to dive into psychological horror stealth before dropping you into a puzzle minigame. It's ambitious in that it wants to include different genres, but it never excels at any of them and rarely rises out of mediocrity as a result. Past Cure's story immediately showed potential with nightmare sequences and time-altering powers that give the impression that there is a lot to learn about this world. But all of that ultimately amounts to nothing because the plot only gets messier as you continue on. By the end of Past Cure's 5 to 6 hour campaign, the biggest question is where it went so wrong. Mysteries are introduced and quickly rushed out, as are characters and their motivations, making it impossible to care about any of them. And if the main character's voice acting is any indication, he doesn't care either. Ian is played with little emotion. It doesn't matter if he's calmly speaking on the phone, getting choked out, or running for his life, almost every line is delivered in the same flat tone.
What the hell? Why can't I breathe?
The action is just as scatterbrained as the story. In one chapter, you're escaping a nightmare world with waves of porcelain humanoids. The next, you're running guns blazing through a brightly lit parking garage. It's not a bad thing to include a variety of genres, but Past Cure has no big central idea to tie it all together, and the transitions come off as random. The big example of that is the supernatural powers. Timed slow motion and astral projection are neat, but even though the lengthy tutorial section hints at how these powers can be used for creative and interesting puzzles, you rarely use them for anything more than sneaking past enemies and disabling cameras. These stealth-focused missions are the highlight, but even then, it's straightforward. Graphically, Past Cure demonstrates that it is capable of creating beautiful environments with the awesome Nightmare House and the blocky tutorial section. But just as often, you're confined to repetitious areas like the parking garage, which need a lot more variety. And it's hard to miss those black borders. They may give off a cinematic feel, but the weird letterbox aspect ratio just feels odd. For more on Past Cure, check out the first 15 minutes of gameplay, and for everything else, keep